Hello everyone, Moo here with another video for you guys. This is a video response to Ken. Ken asked an amazing question today. He says, can you explain how the coin system works and why 213 chains do not give as much coin as a 26 chain? Ken, thank you so much for asking. I should have probably made this video a long time ago, as it is really important information as far as this game is concerned. In fact, it's vital, especially if you're interested in maxing out your coin and scores. So thank you again so much for asking. I'm going to address your question first, and then I'm going to get into the other topics a little bit. So why does the coin differentiate so much? Well, it's not quite an exponential increase as the chain length increases, but it's substantial because the way the game is set up is basically the higher the chain, the more you get rewarded, because there's a finite number of Tsum Tsum that can fit on screen. So Line and or Disney is rewarding you for being able to clear more of them at once. So as you can see, if you look at the 13 chain length, you get 31 coins for that. So if you were to double that, you'd get 62 coins, right? But if you look at the chain length of 26, you're going to get 156 coin. That's 2.5 times more coin than you would from 213 chains. But why is that? It's because it's substantially more difficult to get a 26 chain than it is to get a 13 chain. In fact, if you have a large Maleficent on screen, that counts as 5 Tsum already, you're going to be able to make a 13 chain with relative ease. So that is why the coin earnings are skewed heavily towards the longer chains compared to the shorter ones. I hope that makes sense. There's a little bit of a caveat there, because for chains 1 through 3 I said 0, but in fact you can get a chain of 1 and you can get a chain of 2. The only way that's possible is if you have one magic bubble left on screen by itself. That would be a chain of 1, and if you have one magic bubble that hits only one other Tsum, that's going to be a chain of 2. Now if that bubble is a coin bubble, it's worth 10 coin. So it's not always going to be a coin amount of 0. But what are the odds you're going to have one bubble left on screen and it's going to be a coin bubble? So not likely, but it can happen. Maybe with Gaston, because you can't actually hit the last bonus and clear him, and then you'd have nothing left on screen except for one bubble. And if it's the score bubble, that's kind of a miraculous way you can achieve that. But I hope that kind of answers your question. And maybe it came from the Cruz Ramirez video where I said, oh, it's nice that she clears, 40 Tsum Tsum at SL3. It's unfortunate that she can't clear all of them as one large chain instead of, splitting it into 2. Because if you get 2 chains of 20, that's still really high. It's still 96 coin per chain. But if you could get one that's 40, that's 318 coin, right? So that makes me happy. It means you guys are actually paying attention to what I'm saying. Feel good moment for me right there. Yes. But I hope that answers your question again. I'm going to move on to the base score chart now, which is directly above my head. And this is where the beauty of the green screen comes in, because, my head is blocking the text, right? But all I have to do is just duck, and now magically you can read what it says. Oh my God, this technology. Oh, 2017. It's a good place to be. Actually, green screen has existed for many, many years, and autofocus should still be working in 2017. Come on now. So here we go, base score. So base score is kind of the thing that you need to know most as far as the game is concerned. I mean, it can get very, very complicated. If you guys want to know about the more complicated aspect of the calculations, do let me know in the comment section below. For example, how you can calculate your score manually, which is basically factoring your raw Maleficent score, which is the value that your Maleficent is worth every time you clear one copy of it, plus the base score that you see here, which is dependent on your chain length, plus the factor of whether you're in fever time or not, plus the factor of what combo you have, which we will address shortly. So it can get ridiculously complicated, especially when you consider that the score in fever time is completely separate. Actually, let me just enable the extra facts here. So as you can see, the points during fever time are calculated completely separately from your other points. Then they're multiplied by the combo factor at the end of fever time. And the reason for that is during fever time, the score is increased by a factor of 3. So your Tsum score and also your base score are 3 times their typical value, and this is where the score bubbles make a huge impact because they increase your base score and your Tsum score by a factor of 2. So I received a question earlier in the week as to why Maleficent Dragon is more powerful than Maleficent. Well, this is a perfect time to answer that question again because Maleficent's Dragon Fire also clears bubbles. So when you clear a really large chain with Maleficent Dragon and it also happens to hit a score bubble, if it's during fever time, it's going to multiply that score by 3, both the base score, the Tsum score, and also add an extra factor of 2 on top of that because of a score bubble that you're hitting. Now, Maleficent does not do that. So basically, the score factor of 2 that gets applied from the score bubble is only to the Tsum Tsum that you hit with that bubble when you pop it manually. So in fact, Maleficent Dragon can give you substantially higher scores as a result. So I'm going to turn this extra fact sheet right off, and you guys can take another look at the base score chart. So as you can see, of course, just like with the base coin, the higher your chain, the more you're going to get some ridiculous base score numbers. And again, that's really, really important, especially if you're going to be playing with Tsum Tsum like Piglet, for example, where the majority of your score is going to come from making manual chains. That's the entire point with Piglet. And as a matter of fact, you also want to make longer chains so you can get time bubbles. Otherwise, Piglet is not going to work out too well. And in general, he's not going to work out too well because even if you're a very skilled player, it's going to take several good attempts to get a ridiculously high score with him. But anyways, if you can make substantially longer chains in the 20+ range, that is definitely going to help you quite a bit in getting higher scores. And of course, the score bubble thing is also really important. That is why Yoda and Genie are also really, really good at getting high scores because you can wait until fever time to apply the score bubbles when they use one of their big clears. In Genie's case, the punch, when he punches in the middle of the screen and clears the entire screen, and you have like 2 or 3 score bubbles at the bottom. Now, each of those is going to multiply the base and the Tsum score, which is going to give you some sick, sick numbers. Of course, it's definitely based on luck with Genie, but with Yoda, it's not, because you can make the time bubbles yourself, or the score bubbles yourself, and then during fever time, you activate a skill, you clear the entire screen and pop those score bubbles as well, and you can definitely get some sick scores with Yoda as a result, since you have complete control of when you make the chains and when you use the score bubbles. So I hope that kind of explains to you guys what the base score kind of works at. And if you are interested in the formulas to calculate everything else, do let me know. We can go over that in a kind of different video, because that's going to be kind of a mind-numbing subject that is really irrelevant, since the game does calculate the score for you, which is what you see as the end result when the game ends. So now we're going to move on to the combo multiplier. All right, the final chart is here. This one is the easiest to explain, because as long as you leave the calculation aspect of this entire thing out of it, it's very straightforward. Combo 1 gives you 11% increase to your score. Combo 2 gives you 12, and so on and so forth. 1% incremental change, increase, I should say, for each combo you get up to combo 49, at which point your multiplier maxes out at 59% score increase. So That's basically it. All the 999 combo stuff is just for show. Well, not really, because you don't want to drop your combo. That would be catastrophic, especially if you are using a slower Tsum Tsum that needs about 15 seconds or more to get to 49 combo. If you're going for a high score with said slow Tsum Tsum and you drop that combo, your game is done, because it's going to take you another quarter of the game to build up the combo back to 49, and at that point your score is already down the gutter. So as far as other Tsum Tsum are concerned, however, as I just mentioned in the base score chart section of the video, when you are in fever time, everything is multiplied by 3, and the score bubbles add a factor of 2 on top of that. So for example, Jedi Luke, if you're using the 13 slash technique and you're perpetually in fever time slashing away non-stop, this is why the 13 slash technique allows for some ridiculous scores, since you never really exit fever time. And then you have the 59% score multiplier from the combo added at the end of said fever time, which is only usually for about half a second before you jump back in again. It's going to give you some ridiculous scores, and that is basically how the combo multiplier works. I really wish that it would continue to go higher, because getting to 999 combo is not attainable except for maybe a handful of Tsum Tsum. Jedi Luke is one of them, Piglet is one of them, Cinderella is one of them, Maleficent Dragon is one of them, Maleficent is also one of them, but a little bit harder than Maleficent Dragon, and I'm sure there's a couple I'm not quite registering right now. But you know, because there's only a handful of Tsum Tsum that can reach 99, it would be nice if this chart continued going past the 49 combo value. But unfortunately that is not the case. But this is really good news for everybody in one regard, because 49 combo again is not that difficult to achieve, and you can maintain it throughout the game and get that extra 59% score added to your base score, your raw score, your fever time score, and so on and so forth. Again, if you guys want to find out more about the actual math, let me know in the comment section below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and any questions, comments, anything like that, leave them down below. Perhaps I'm not the best at explaining things, and if that is the case, I will be more than happy to clarify. But other than that, again, Ken, thank you so much for asking a good question. I always appreciate a good question. If you guys do have additional questions regarding this video in particular, or any comments, anything like that, leave them in the comment section down below. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.